Those numbers up here, good. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you. I feel like Representative Williamson here. I'm out of breath. Um, to the subcommittee is the Ways and Means Subcommittee here. We're going to go ahead and get started. And Representative Scoggins, I think you're up first. Okay. So if you get your property condemned by the state, city, county, it would not be subject to any income tax from the state of Georgia. That's simply all this bill does. Okay, questions of the author? Yes, sir. What number? I don't guess for two, right?
Thanks, gentlemen, for bringing the bill. I think I understand what you're trying to do.
say taxpayer, does that include an LLC that owns property and gets it condemned? And then second, could possibly an upper limit if what you're really trying to describe is a homeowner or a farm owner.
So
who
you're
has
asking if we could put a cap on the
Well,
amount?
potentially if when we're trying to at least address the problem.
You'd be realizing income. So what I'm trying to understand is that if you take a loss on the property, then you're not going to have any capital gains realized. But if you're in this instance, you would only get a profit on the sale of this, correct?
If you've got you're talking about if you've got a below fair market value for the property of what you paid for the property.
I'm just
that would-
saying, if you bought a piece of property for
Yes, sir. And other members.
decision one way or the other. No, his point is, if it's been in the family farm for 5 generations, I mean, your basis on that was a nickel an acre. I mean, or $1 an acre, right? So, I mean, your basis was practically nothing and you just wanted to keep it. And now you have, remembering that it doesn't matter in Georgia whether it's long-term or short-term capital gain, you just have to pay your capital gain as ordinary income, which is 5.75. We're continuing to try to work on that. So if we're working this, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask our attorney. I seem to remember something in history that there was a tax advantage to actually going through a condemnation. You're paying 23.8 to the federal government. So like the idea, I think we need to tighten it up, make sure it's not, cannot be trifled with, and also to see what it does, how it goes hand in glove with the federal tax policy around this.
Chairman Houston.
Well, yes, when you're looking at me like I advocate for doing that. And I don't. I know right there, Chairman. No, you're right. Well, and also in the condemnation price, do that. They take into account, I believe, if it goes through condemnation, not just the price of the real property, not the price of the personal property on it, but in the trouble you can cause, you can actually ask for that as part of the process. But no, I agree. I mean, the gentleman has a great point here. It's just a shame that we can't take it to, take it up a level to the federal level, because it's the federal government who does much of it.
Other members? It's a very, very lively discussion. Representative Fry?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's a great idea. It's a moving story that you've told for sure. I'd like to see it.
It is a
Would encourage any kind of
few today. Thank you so much for coming, Representative Scoggins. Thank you. As well. We will follow up. This is an issue that I believe has a solution to. The chairman to talk a little bit about Senate Bill 87, if you would. I'm sorry, we do have a senator here. I didn't see you there. So would you come up to the mic, Senator? That one right there's good. Yeah. Forgive me, I didn't see you. I'm going to defer first to the chairman. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Senator Red. I know he's worked incredibly hard, and we've talked a great deal about how to make the most out of the Senator Jack Hill Veterans Act. What I believe the intent of the original bill was to try to help veterans and specifically disabled veterans. Is that fair to say, Senator? Yes, sir. And when we take a tax dollar and we defer it over, at the case with several different entities within the state, it kind of has to be done a little bit carefully. And I think what we've done here is we've made sure that it stays within the confines of the state of Georgia through the Technical College Systems Foundation. I leave it to you. I know we heard from a number of veterans, disabled ones last year. So we've heard the general ideas behind this bill and what we're trying to do, and let the Senator expand on his bill from that point forward. And then if it's the will of the committee, I'd love to see this one move forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Basically, this bill named after Senator Jack Hill, what it does is people on their state income tax refund, they're able to donate $1 to support disabled veterans, and this goes towards the foundation of the Technical College of Georgia. How we came up with this bill, Senator Jack Hill, he was a mentor of mine, and we worked on this bill together, and he would tell me what to do, and I'd go do it. I'd say, yes, sir. And we came up with this bill. But something happened. One evening I was talking with him on the telephone, and we finally kind of had things worked out. But then the next day he passed away. And so the next day I thought about it, and I said, well, it'd be a good idea to name this bill after Senator Hill, because he's a veteran and I'm a veteran. And as you know, old veterans don't fade away. They continue to find a way to serve. And through this bill, I thought it would highlight his efforts, serving community and country, and give an opportunity, even though he's transitioned, to continue to serve other veterans. And that's basically what it is in a nutshell, sir. And I want to thank the chairman Mr. Blackman, for working with me on this bill. We worked on it quite a bit. I have to laugh also because I remember Senator Jack Hill, after the day was over, we would meet, go get something to eat and play some blackjack. And I should have known better than that. He's a numbers man. I hardly ever won. Then he said, well, Doc, you just got to go out there and you got to keep at it. So if you can find consideration to pass this, I'd appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, the chairman of Black Prime answer them. This is one of the most honorable men I think that's ever served in this general assembly. So everybody's going to light up, and of course we're all part of this to finally get after here and things to get to the point that we are. Very honorable man. And of course it does say a whole lot. He was a colonel, I believe, in the reserves over in Garden City for years and years. So is there anybody that wants on the committee that wants to say anything without a motion? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to the bill? If not, I'll entertain Chairman Martin.
Mr. Chairman, if we're in the posture, I'd like to move to pass on Senate Bill 78 by the committee, substitute LC 43 22 32A.
We have a motion, a second.
I'm told I may have been backwards on that. I may have said 78A, but the LC number is correct. Senate Bill 87.
Today is dyslexic day, for those of you that aren't here.
Sometimes dyslexic, other times backwards. Sorry.
Yeah, correct, Representative Corbett, so today is dyslexic day. We have a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the bill passes, and I'm honored, Representative Rhett, to get this bill out for you, and I appreciate your tenacity. Keep going. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. Thank you. If there's no other business before the committee, we are adjourned.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go ahead and get started. This is the Sales Tax Subcommittee of the House Ways and Means Committee. We have 2 items on our agenda. These are the first hearing on both of these bills, so these will be a hearing only. I'm told we have 3 bills. We didn't turn over the back of the sheet. The first bill we're going to go with is House Bill 1034, 1034. Representative Weedower, we're working off on our machines here, LC 500292. Is that what you have?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Please tell us about your measure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee members. So House Bill 1034 extends the exemption exemption of sales tax for non-recurring major sporting events. Some of you would remember back in 2016, this was passed before successfully hosting the 2016 football playoff semifinal, then the 18 college football playoff national championship, which is painful for those of us that were there. 2019 Super Bowl, and then unfortunately, I'm a big basketball guy. I was very disappointed to have the 2020 Final Four canceled due to COVID, but this bill allows us to kind of be at the bargaining or at the table to be considered for these types of events. So this bill would extend that sunset out. It sunsets this year currently. Extend it out to 2031, which seems like it's far away, but they're already in the running for the Final Four in 2029. This would extend it 2 years past that. This bill would also add to the list, as many of you know, North America was selected for the FIFA World Cup in 2026, and we are one of 16 cities that are in the conversation for hosting various events that surround that. We can get into several of those depending on what we would land. Obviously, it would affect how much money it might bring to the state. It's been a successful process to get these events here and be a robust boost to the budget for us. So that's the bulk of it. I know there's some people here that might need to speak. We got questions, but I'll field any questions at this point.
Let me ask the subcommittee if there are questions. Two lights on over there.
That one's lit up. I don't think we need to go.
I see number one is 10. You're 10? Yes, sir. All right. Are there any questions? I have just one. If you happen to have this information, somebody else can have it. Obviously, we're adding the FIFA World Cup to a and then extending the date. 34, 35, 36. What type of year for someone that's not what type of year was the World Cup? I understand it extends over like more than a month. So when would that be?
Yeah, well, it's 2026 is what we're looking at, and it is. In 1 second, let me get to. You can actually get into. Apologize, Mr. Chairman.
No, it's fine. You want some time, just take a look at it. I just wanted to actually spread that over, for folks' knowledge about, the opportunity for the assignment. So we can, if there are no further questions, we can go to testimony and then maybe one of the folks can fill us in on that.
Sure, there's a host of rounds. I mean, you have an opening, you got group matches, then a round of 32, round of 16, then the quarterfinal, semifinal, third place game, and the final.
No, I know it
So
extends over a month. I just didn't know if it was in July, August, May, June. So we'll get to that. Okay. Any further questions, please, gentlemen? I see no further questions. Do we have people signed up to speak? No one signed up to speak? Without objection, we'll let you testify as part of the presentation. Press the button over there, so I got a number there. Just tell me what number it is, please. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Martin. Thank you, Representative Weedar. My name is Nick Fernandez with the Metro Atlanta Chamber. We are here alongside, as many of y'all know, we house the Atlanta Sports Council within the Metro Atlanta Chamber. And their job, led by Dan Corso, is to go out and recruit these major sporting events. And as Representative Weedauer mentioned, we are looking at future events already that extend out to 2031. First one being potentially 2025 National Championship, 2028 Super Bowl, and then a 2029 Final Four to recoup hopefully the losses in the event we had. But to your question, Chairman Martin, the games extend over a 35-day period, and they'll be occurring amongst all the host cities, ending with one championship as well as a third place game. And then the other potential is we are currently also in the bidding process for the International Broadcast Center, which would house all of the media for the event here in Atlanta, and that would actually be a longer term investment. We're looking at probably 6 months of investment, including preparation, building that up, and housing that for 6 months here in Atlanta as they get shipped out around the country, as well as Canada and Mexico for events.
Any questions? Any questions? I see that. Thank you very much. Chairman Black.
I was just gonna ask if, I know we've had some discussions and looked at this a little bit. Could you kind of explain, I know there is no fiscal impact if, these don't take place, whenever these take place, but could you maybe run through what the fiscal impact looks like as far as the return on something like this?
You're still paying, right?
All right, yes, sir. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready to get started. We're going to go with House Bill 1088. Judge Gunter, you're fine there if you want to stay where you're at. And this is a substitute, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay,
This is LC 365089S.
Okay.
Basically, the changes that were made to it were to make it clear that this applies only to township
okay.
and not any other type of transaction. So,
That was the only change in the bill.
yeah, well, there's several changes, but they were all to clarify that this is for timeshare only.
Timeshare owner,
Mhm.
okay. Okay, any questions from the committee members? Not, I'll entertain a motion. Motion do pass, second by Chairman. Okay, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay, we'll move on to full committee.
Awesome. Thank you.
And that be Thursday? Judge Gunner, that will be Thursday at 2. And this is.
Yeah.
0328S. Okay, I don't have that.
These attorneys, they might put a hit out on you.
Okay, House Bill 974, Representative Gullett. We have one right here, I think. And Representative Gullett, will you give us the LC number so we're all on the same page?
I will. Well, I know the ones that's not. The one that just got handed to me was LC 50-0336S.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's the one we're working on.
What was that? Yep. So working from LC 50-0336S.
Okay,
All right. Thank you. So, members of the committee, we discussed this. I guess it was last week. It's related to mandatory e-file of real estate items with the court. And I just want to go through the bill a little bit, just really quick, briefly again, especially around the changes that we made with the sub. So, first page was exactly the same. And then this applies, so related to real estate instruments, and that's lines 20 through 25. It's deeds, mortgages, liens, maps and plats, state tax executions and state tax execution renewals. That's what it applies to. And really the key of this bill is line 40 and 41. Any instrument required to be recorded pursuant to this chapter shall be electronically filed with the clerk of the Superior Court. There's a new section, it's line 42, section D. So starting at 42. This is just a reiteration of the current law, but the clerk of the Superior Court shall make available a public computer terminal, which provides a filer with access to the Georgia Superior Court Clerks Cooperative Authority's electronic filing portal. So that's new. And if you remember from the original bill, line 48, we'd included priority. So effective validity, enforceability, or priority of such instrument. Priority is not new to this sub, but it is and what I talked about, but it's different than the original bill. And then a couple additional changes to this sub are start at 64, really 66. So it's the B, a deed secured debt shall not be recorded unless it includes the following information on the first page. So date of the document, that's new from when we last talked. That's number one. And the order is important to the clerks. So date of the document is new. The names of signatories of the document is old. Number three, grantees mailing address is old. That was carried over from the previous sub. Four, map and parcel identification information, old. A new one is the original loan amount and the amount of any outstanding principal and additional advance pursuant to a loan modification. And then the other ones are part of the original sub as well. So 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then this act would become effective July 1st, 2023. That is different than the original, but it's the same as I presented last time. That's at the request of the clerk's court authority, so that they could get the infrastructure stood up to cover this.
Okay, were these changes made with a request of the clerk's authority?
They were in the request of clerk specifically. So the clerk's authority, yes, asked me for these changes.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Judge Gunter? Judge Gunter?
Representative Gullett, I have a clerk in my district that would still like the option of being able to have people come in and file their documents like the old system.
Okay.
Does this accommodate any of that?
I guess she could go to the terminal and file it herself if she wanted to. So there's a terminal outside, and it doesn't accommodate the old fashioned way of turning it into the clerk, but that clerk would have to e-file it. I guess that's the process that would take,
I think
it's got to be e-filed. Who does it, I guess, would be dependent on the clerk. If she wants to say, I'm the only one doing it, she could do that. But
I think this clerk wanted to be able to look at the signatures and make sure that to examine the documents themselves before he filed them. So,
yeah, but then she'd have to just e-file it to
Okay,
get
all
for
right.
account.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
It's in there. Yeah, the new one.
Okay, go ahead. Well, this one, it's changed.
Yeah, we said that. It's in there. Yeah, I have a sub.
You had a sub to the sub.
Yeah.
All right. We had a sub to the sub
Yeah.
to the sub.
last one.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay. We're okay?
We're good.
Okay. Okay, now I'll entertain a motion. Second, Judge Gunter. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Move on to full committee Thursday at 2.
Thank you so much.
All right. This concludes the meeting. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.
I can tell you that the potential impact of having a FIFA World Cup is upwards of